take you around different countries. Belarus, yes, Belarus. Yes, Belarus. Take it right down.
It's a beautiful country. Well, so I would
just like we said, Belarus is in Russia. They don't even speak the Belarusian language. Also, when you look at their system of
because it's talking about control, and they look into it
at their religion, there I think about 40% of their like is for there. Another beautiful thing in Belarus, like that's to show that Belarus happened in 1994, so you can imagine by then, I think people who have visited Belarus before, they have to be careful.
Belarus doing pretty well, and
we really need to get that visa, man. I know, even though like just like we said, so to show you how sharp their eyes.
Talking about education, 81 years old after they got there, then you go to you can go to public school, or going to the university, and then it's actually their best.
And you know, while we're going down, since they have set the foundation from the educational sector that is free. Now GDP, like I mean, they are rubbing shoulders. Even though when you look at IT industries, I know most of their business partners are Russians because they love this Belarus. Even though yes, that freedom of speech is not there. Talking about Shem Wisman and also Shimon Peres, like those were when you really look at the economy, and even though they don't so much depend on one cities, like they have big cities, and that is very in their work for the government, and then they I think they are paid not that much, or engineering or IT. So those are the people that receive much popping to take a lead from that. We don't depend so much on just one aspect that such. And you know their roads are beautiful. No potholes, straight. Like if you've already planned that I'm traveling from here to this particular place and spending 10 minutes, you're sure that you're getting 10 minutes. So you don't have issue of saying there are potholes, there are all manner of things that are stand on your way. You've been smiling. We need to get that schedule.
That country is beautiful, Sele. Like, you don't know that a lot of people want to go to such places because it's developed. Like, a lot of things you want to do, you're sure that if I want to do this, it's going to work out for me, in as much as it's a controlled country. But then whatever it is you're doing, you're sure that it's going to work out. So that's why I think that place is beautiful.
Exactly. And they have a very low limit, like talking about unemployment, like very little or to know that unemployed, like employment is not a problem in Belarus. So when you graduate, you're sure that there is a place. If you're not in IT industry, you're definitely going to work with the government or maybe planting flowers, because they have lots of flowers in that.
Yes, we talked about flowers, beautiful flowers.
I love nature. You blame me if I lay emphasis on the flowers. So just like I've been saying, we've been talking about the beautiful, beautiful cities. So I'd like us to look at some of the tourist sites there. Linda, would you like to take the first one?
All right. So we're going to talk about the Braslav Lake area. He said that this place is approximately 300 lakes in the region that are known as the Blue Necklace, and then they gave it a nickname, Blue Necklace. Like like that place is a very beautiful place, and then they have azure waters. Like you can actually go there, just relax, and then you can think, you can do anything you want to do. It could be that you just need to be alone, like just your own time. So you can just go to the Braslav Lake area and relax, and then you can actually think of some certain decisions you need to take, or maybe you can even talk to God. Like you can sit there. It's very important. So you can sit there because you don't want anybody to disturb you or anything to distract you. So you can just go to that place and then sit and relax, then pray. You can talk, you can do anything all by yourself.
Lita, you're so smiling. I think you want to take a spiritual retreat. So of course we should visit that place. Yes. Another place we would like to look at is the Bushka National Park, and then this is a protected area land, and then the park is famous for its lush landscapes and flora and fauna. And then they said it's one of the most notable, which is the European Biscore. I know they said it's also found in, as in, like the park is so beautiful, like just like you were laying emphasis the fact that if you need a visit, like you need a touch of nature, there's a park you need to visit, because you tend to see very beautiful. It's green. They don't play, like the areas are green, especially when we're looking at the forest areas that is yellowish, and then it's beautiful. It's a park that you get to relax, like you don't have any fright of any insurgents or anything, even though every country has its issues, but it's a park that is worth visiting. So in case you find yourself in Belarus, I mean, the national park is where you should really take a trip, and you won't regret going there.
Of course, talking about the Mer Castle, that place is all about beautiful Italian flowers. Like they always say visitors can go there and sit and relax and feel a bit of nature as well, because flowers will give you beautiful colors. That's where we have butterflies, you understand?
Yeah.
So then when you sit there, you're looking at nature, you're feeling refreshed, and you're so excited because you're not feeling as if you have any problem. Like you're sitting down, you're in the flowers, like you're just being so happy.
It's so lovely. Yeah, another tourist site is the Midday, and you know this is an artificially created reservoir. You know, it was created by them, and it's very beautiful. Like the waterfall there is so green. I know they say another thing that by the side you find this sandy beach. You know, I love the beach side, right?
Of course.
You say yes, have I told you before? Yeah, by the side you meet the sandy beach sand there, and then the restaurants there are great because like one thing about the restaurant there, that most of the meals that there are local delicacies. So for those that have never tasted any Belarusian meal, it's a place for you to go because you get to relax during your midday, just like we say, it's a midday activity. So while you're there, you know, you just get to relax and, you know, enjoy one of their sweet and beautiful local delicacies. Later I would like to tell you one or two, you know, their ingredients that is very important in their meals.
Still talking about their tourist areas, we still have the Bearside Museum. This place is actually very important site, and then it's outside the city of Brest. That then it dates from the 13th century, and then the site is that of a former wooden town that was excavated in the 1960s, and then it was turned into a museum. Like museum is where you keep a lot of things that you want to go and see, to keep about history and the rest. So you know, once you go to a museum, you tend to think, you tend to see a lot of artworks, and then you tend to see what you've never seen before, you understand? So like in Belarus, when you find yourself in Belarus, you should try and visit all these places.
I mean, it's really is what the visit, you know, because laying emphasis on how beautiful and also keeping things that you remember. You know, Belarus was one time a USSR, like talking about Soviet country, but then like even after they got their independence, like they make sure that they preserve some of this so they get to remember what has been happening. And another tourist site is the Duduki Museum. I'd say this museum is complex and it features in local handmade crafts, especially talking about the horseshoe, like handmade horseshoe, like it's one of the things you find there. So like for those that don't know how to make it, and I think Linda, when you visit there, there should be the first thing you will learn. It should be on midday activity that you learn how to make these handmade horseshoes so that you get to remember. I mean, it's something because you get to pass history over to your you know, your words, or when you, it's something when you come back to your own country, you'll be proud of saying that yes, I learned something new, you know, during my my visit there. It wasn't just about sightseeing and tour abroad. You learned something to, you know, add more skill to yourself.
Yeah, and then so we have the next one is the Tower of Kamienet, and then it's called the White Tower, and the Tower of Kamienet is actually red in color. Talking about red, you know, red is beautiful,
actually,
right?
That's why I have a red hair.
Yeah, of course, and that's why you look very beautiful. Yeah, it has is red in color, and then the construction is they used red bricks as well to do it, and then it's actually they said it's unfortunately all of these places were destroyed, but then now they're trying to make it come up again, like they're trying to rebuild it and then make it work. Relax, as we were saying, so they can actually do the lot of things that they do during the midday. You know, it's not everyone that actually has something he's doing like in the midday, but then when you find yourself in Belarus, you should actually bring yourself to them and do some certain things that they're doing.
Of course, you should learn to do something. That's why we like to look at like the agricultural system. You know, besides it's one of the like one of the sectors that contribute to the GDP, and you know, they say the agriculture there in Belarus is divided into two. That's when it's looking at livestock production and also plant, and part of the livestock when we say like cattle ranching, like when it's looking at meat production, we give them a key. Talking about crop production, they also key because looking at potatoes. Like one of the things they grow there is potatoes. Why are you smiling?
When you talk about potatoes, you should know what comes to mind.
Chips.
Yes.
Are you sure you're not hungry?
No, Sele.
You know, because when part of the things then they like produce, like when you talk about potato production, and also part of, even though it makes part of the delicacy, their mushroom, you know, so it's something that like it's very great because they make sure they also give attention. They don't just pay their attention to one side. They make sure the education is not suffering, the economy is not suffering, and even the agricultural sector is not suffering. They make sure they boost in more into it so that they have they won't lack in their meat production, because they love meat a lot there.
They love meat a lot, and then they're saying that they have 1.5 million cows, and then they're finding it very difficult. Yeah, and they're finding it very difficult to get milk. Like, how is that possible?
So you get to wonder what's wrong with the cows. If they feed them well with the green grasses and the forest, we'll see why are the milks not coming up. I think it's something possibly the Belarus government is trying to look into it, because I know they won't just neglect that aspect, the fact that they are good in livestock production. So they'll look into that, and to make sure that they also work on it. I know another thing is, apart from potato, they have legumes, cereals, that's talking about wheat and all that, because it makes part of the delicacy they have there. And then the remaining part, like just the 4%, they make sure it's going to the industrial crop, like making sure they produce food for the animals so that they feed well, and possibly they'll start producing it properly.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. So talking about agriculture, we're going to go back to their common foods.
Linda, you're hungry.
Okay, one of their food there is the draniki, which is the potato pancakes. And in Belarus, they don't joke with potato. Like, potato is one of their best. Like, it's one thing that they love. It's a big deal over there. And then so they can do anything they want to do with potato. They can mix different ingredients in potato, onions, and then though some recipes include meat and onions, bacon, mushrooms, and cheese. And then they naturally served with sour cream. Like, I wonder how that would taste.
It would taste nice. Just imagine putting some cream in your, cabbage or that. It will sound great. Another of their meal is the liski, and this is a boiled flour balls filled with meat, just like we have the meat pie here, where it's filled with potato, but here it's filled with the fillings are with meat, and can be eaten on its own with roasted onions or the sour cream, just as you said, or you can add it to your soup. Possibly it will serve like maybe cheese that you put in case of meat, but it will be very rich, because you have the fillings that have meat, and then you're including it. So imagine the vegetables with that soup. It will be great.
Talking about which, there's the shurek. The shurek is a soup made of oats and dark bread. Talking about dark bread, does that mean it's roasted bread or something?
I think so that you have the brown look, so just like make toasted bread. So it makes it dark, and then
and then it said it's cooked from a place with oats, bread mixture in a warm place, and then for 3 days, and then filter it before mixing it with meat, vegetables, and garlic. The soup is then cooked slow and low. Like, it needs to go through a process before it's being made. Like, it's a soup, so you know that. So it means before you eat the soup, you need to prepare it for like 4 days.
Not 4 days. There are certain meals, like if you want to get the best out of it, the heat don't, just like when you're frying plantain. When the heat is very high, it gets to burn, and then it's not fried the way you want it to. So I think possibly that's the reason why you have to cook it on a slow heat, so that you get to enjoy the best out of it. And then you don't lose nutrients in the process, because when it's overcooked, you lose nutrients and all that. All right, let's look at another meal, which is the bushit. And then this is the beetroot is the main ingredient in this delicacy, as well as the meat. And then the potatoes, cabbage, carrots, and onions too. And the Belarus restaurant typically serve bushit with sour milk and dark bread, just like we said. And another thing is that part of, if you check most of the meals we've been mentioning, like they have 3 basic ingredients, which is tomatoes, mushroom, and potato. Like, they make sure that these ingredients are key in every of the Belarusian restaurant you go, or any of their meals. They make sure that these ingredients are key in that meal. So I think whenever you visit Belarus, please make sure you test this meal. Like, it's something to come home and share with loved ones, and then you get to even know how to make a new meal, possibly to change the one you're used to eating always.
And another meal over there is the skavaki, and then this popular snack is made of pork fat. Wow. And then fatty pot meat fried on a pan. They said some restaurants, they serve it with scrambled eggs and potatoes. So still, potatoes, as I said, is a big deal over there. So like, in every meal they want to prepare, potato must be included. Like, so, and then this is one snack that is being made with pork fat. So it means, I don't get, like,
why are you changing your food? Don't you love pork?
I love pork, but then the fat.
Possibly when it's fried properly. I mean, when it's prepared well, you will love the fat. I mean, it's something I would love to eat. You know, another of their meal is the mashika. This is a thick, creamy stew with a base of week's egg. I love egg a lot, flour, milk, sour cream, and plenty of cottage cheese. Even though I don't love cheese very much, maybe that's why I don't really like it because it's milk and that. But then it's a meal that is worth tasting because it has the flour, it has milk, it has egg. I mean, it's a rich meal, you know.
Of course,
so
with eggs.
It's something you should try.
Another one again, we have the machanka. The machanka is actually thick, creamy stew, and then it's based with whisk egg, flour, milk, sour cream, and plenty of cottage cheese. So wow, okay. And then once cooked, it's garnished with crispy fried pork grease and a generous helping of sour milk. They're always using sour milk to garnish their food.
They have a reason why they use sour cream. I know another thing that actually shocked me with Belarusians is the fact that for every of this meal we didn't mention is that, like, when you're looking at alcohol consumption, Belarus are the second in alcohol consumption. Even the fact that possibly the gospel has reached there, but I mean, they consume alcohol a lot in that country, and each of these meals we've been mentioning, like, they make sure that they take it down with alcohol, no water. So I think we need to, you know, talk about it. They need to check their health and all that in alcohol consumption. They need to look it out. And you know, another thing in this meal we're looking at, like, another thing I just realized about them is family. Belarusians value family a lot. Like, in a house you can find about first, second, third generation living in the same building. Like, they value family a lot. If you look at their population, they are not more, just over 9 million, a little over 9 million, but yet, like, they make sure that they value family. So it's quite something to admire that, you know, you don't tend to lose touch with your family, unlike other, you know, other places where people, the moment your mom or your dad are old, you just send them to the old people's home. But here you see if the family live together. I love that, you know, culture about
and
them.
their children will actually stay there and they will see their elderly parents. They will live together instead of sending them to all these retired homes. And then as a result, you may find close bonds between grandparents and their children.
You need to imagine now, back then when we, you know, when it's Christmas time, you know, you travel to the village, your cousins from every side coming. No matter how there's no light or the infrastructure there, not
you're still excited.
They're still excited because they are all together. Like, you tend to tell stories.
It's more like a reunion.
So it's something that me I really love. You know, the family, because they value it a lot. They value family a lot. They don't play with their families, and they make sure that, like, family is key to them. Just like we've said, you don't just feel that, okay, I've reached a point whereby, yes, I can take care of myself, and then I send my mom or my dad away. No, they make sure that they keep them, and that the kids then to have, like, first-hand information about history. Remember we were mentioning about them. You tend to know that the best way you could do, even though there are no writings to preserve some of these things, but, you know, parents tend to, like, say, send over, share the history, and then tell them this is where your granddad used to be during the war. This is what happened. It's as if you're beginning to, you know.
Yes, when you're talking about family, just the way they love each other, Belarusians are actually hospitable as well. You know, when you love someone, you're able to feel that person's pain. You understand? Even when that person is not able to tell you anything, the Belarusians here, even if they appear very reserved, but then they're hospitable. Even if you're a visitor, they tend to take care of you. They tend to go out of their way to make you happy, to even do what you want them to do. Like, they just tend to make you feel very comfortable. Unlike some other places that when you go, like, you don't feel okay staying there, you don't feel safe. Talking about hospitality, Belarus is actually a safe country as well. Like, but then, you know, some people will tell you when you go there, you need to take care of yourself, beware of people that pickpockets, like people that will harm you and stuff like that. Like, just mere advice that they'll give to you. But Belarus is actually a beautiful place.
Yeah, you know, another beautiful thing about them when you're talking about being friendly, like, they're very proud of their culture.
Yes.
The moment you come to, like, the moment you're in Belarus, like, they want to tell you everything about their culture. And that's why we're talking about that horse, you know, that handmade horseshoe. Like, it's something they are proud of. So I think it's something we also need to take a lead from them here. You can see that even though they have been well, I say they have their independence, they have not done away with their mother tongue. And it's something we here, we are fighting with. Like the moment you're born, all you are interested in is just want to learn the secondary language, which is English. But they make sure that they have their mother tongue. That's why when you go there, it's either they are speaking Belarusian or they're speaking Russian language. And I think it's something for you to be proud of your culture and to preserve it. With that, we don't hear that the mother tongue or your culture has gone on extinct. Why? Because people, they just didn't value their culture, didn't value what was handed over to them by their parents. And that's why I think that family really is key. And other countries around the world should also take a lead from, Belarus there. Yeah. So I think since we've been looking at being friendly, it's high time we learn how to greet, so that when you get to Belarus, you don't just, go away and then you don't know certain courtesy that is expected of you to learn how to greet. So, but before we go there, I would like us to go on a short break. And when we come back, we shall dive into other ethics, their media activities, their greetings, and even their eating etiquettes there. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still the Midday Show live on ECWA TV Africa. If you're just joining us, we've been taking a ride to Belarus. Yes, it's a country in Europe and it's surrounded by Russia, Ukraine, Poland, and it's a very beautiful and great country. It has over 9 million population, and then talking about their system of government, it is they practice socialist democracy system. That is the government control. Most of their enterprise, most of the things they do, they are being controlled by government. It's a beautiful country you need to visit. I mean, when you take a ride to Belarus, you know that it's worth it. It's a beautiful and great country. Yes, later before we went on that break, we're looking at their meals, how beautiful, very tasty. I'm sure it's tasty because of the ingredients there. You love potatoes a lot. You've been smiling when I mentioned potato, like chips. And mushroom. I think it's something we need to learn how to eat. Even though I don't know how to eat the mushroom, it seems to me that it grows in depth. But there are mushrooms that grow in clean areas. There are people that cultivate it, like plant mushrooms, and then you get to find it very healthy. So I think it's something we need to learn. So
we should.
Hope these ingredients we are taking to cut this out.
So of course, we should go to the market to look for it.
So before we went on that break, we said we've learned some of the things about Belarus, their tourist sites, and even some of their cities, which is Minsk, Gomer. They are very great, beautiful cities. And I mentioned the fact that they have about 11,000 lakes. So that is to show that part of their media activity is going to be fishing.
Of course.
Possibly because they have lots of lakes there, and then the farming industry, that's the IT, aviation. I mean, most of the midday, that's what you meet people doing. Also sightseeing, because lots of tourists do visit Belarus. And if you get to listen to people's testimonies, permit me to use that word, when people get to testify about their stay there, they will tell you that it's a beautiful country, like very peaceful and quiet,
clean,
very clean country. Like we've mentioned other countries in the past, but Belarus also, they are trying their best when it comes to that. And I think we need to learn, just like we said before that break, we'll be learning the certain greetings. So when you find yourself in Belarus, you don't cross your boundaries. You know what you're expected to do, what you're expected to say. It's important before somebody takes you
unaware.
Unaware.
Yeah. And then they said man greeting man. You know, like when you go to Belarus, like you're a man and then you're meeting your fellow man, there should be a particular way you greet them, because it's more like they've set it like a rule that you need to follow. And then he said a man will have to shake one another, holding direct contact, eye contact. Like you don't need to look at anything, because you're meeting that person. Even if you're meeting him for the first time, you know, when you're having eye contact with someone, it shows there's this
that's where I'm having with
do you understand? Like there's this connection that it shows that is real.
Yeah.
Like you're actually greeting this person, you're not like an enemy. Because you know, like when you hate someone or if you don't like someone, the way you're trying to say hi to that person and you're looking at him, you won't be able to look at him straight in the eye. You can't hold that direct contact with that person. So like in Belarus, when you find yourself there, you should be sure of maintaining that eye contact with that person.
I love that eye contact thing, because you know it's something our parents here on the lighter note, like especially when you're lying to your mom, should tell you, look at me in my eyes.
So you should be able to know if you're lying.
Yes, so that they will know if you're lying and the motive behind it. You know, people are very funny these days, so you need to be careful. So I think it's something the Belarusian government actually thought it's important that you maintain that eye contact so that people will know. And also there's a way women to women, like when I meet you as a lady, it's expected of me to greet. And alternatively, they're like kisses. Yeah. Because like we are feminine, we're getting to know each other, and starting from the left. So you don't mistaken it when you meet a lady. Yes, you start kissing from the left before you get to the right. And that is what's common when women that know each other, because if you don't know, like somebody will like, so you need to be very observant and careful when you find yourself in Belarus. When you're greeting a lady, you start from the lady to lady. Actually, as a man, you are not permitted to do that. Actually, because it will send a wrong signal. So don't form over familiarism with people when you find yourself there. Behave and you know etiquette that is expected. That is only when fellow women are greeting, and those that know each other, that you know they use the kisses to greet each other.
You know, talking about woman to woman greetings, you know, like it shows love and like the way they greet each other, like you know you're loving this person, even if you don't love this person from your heart, but then you're pretending, and then when you try to pretend, they tend to know like you don't mean it. But then when you try to do like these kisses, you start from the left, and then it shows like you're having a direct contact with that person, which is very interesting. It shows love. And then he said a man and a woman greeting. That's actually something like if you meet like a man and a woman greeting, if you don't have any personal relationship with that person, there's no form of any touch. You don't need to touch.
We're observing social distance.
Yes, just like COVID-19. Yes. So you know, like when you're actually meeting a woman for the first time and you don't have any relationship with that woman, you can't touch her, not even a handshake. Like you just greet and then you pass, like that's it. But then if you have any relationship with that person, then you're sure of greeting that person, shaking that person, and even giving the person a hug. It still shows love, because since they love each other over there, like they tend to do things to please you, to make you happy. If they can actually welcome visitors and go out of their ways to make you feel very comfortable, like whatever it is you want, they will give to you. They can go out of their way. So now, for instance, now maybe you go to a visitor's house, someone, and then you're a visitor, and then you tell the person, you don't have food, and the person will be like, I have food. Even if it's the last food they have, like the last plate, they can give it to you, or they share with you. That's an act of love. Like you show love. Like in Belarus, they love each other. Since they can love visitors, so it means they love each other.
Yeah, you know, just like we set the foundation for the family. You know, they said charity begins at home. So they extend this love that they have within the family, and then it gets to the society. And that's why I say that they're developing, because if they've extended that love of the family, that's why even in their greetings, that they extend their love to you, and they go out of their way to make sure that you're feeling comfortable. So when you find yourself in Belarus as a man, don't be too quick to extend a hand to a lady that you want to shake up, because it's been sensed as being rude, and then they just don't accept that. So you should be very careful when greeting there, so you know what is expected of you, either as a lady or as a man, when you find yourself in Belarus. Don't be too familiar.
Talking about Belarus, like I just remembered something I read that is telling me, it's saying they have superstitious belief. Like when you're a visitor and then you visit someone's home, and when you leave, they say you don't need to blow whistle. They don't blow whistle in the house. Like when you blow whistle in your house, it means you're blowing your money away. Like, what kind of belief is that?
Like, they have so many superstitious beliefs. I think there's other the one that said when a visitor visits you, you don't sweep.
Yeah.
Except when the person has reached home. So that means when you visit, when you get home, you call and say, I'm home. If not, you are sweeping away your future.
Really?
You know, there's so many actually superstitious beliefs. And I believe they'll do away with that with the coming of, you know, the gospel, looking at the fact that they have quite a number of population when it comes to lots of churches. They have very beautiful churches there. And, you know, it actually tells, just like I said, in their architectural buildings, like they have very good drafted wonderful castles and houses. So it actually tells on them. So possibly this civilization will also tell in their superstitious belief, and they won't. I know since we're still looking at etiquettes, we would like to look at some of their etiquette that they do there, because they say their etiquette, they are quite close to Russian, and actually because you know they are close to Russia, and Russia happens to be their basic business partner. So, and they say shaking hands is a big deal, especially for men. So if you enter a room, shake everybody you meet. So that means if you're a man, you shake every man. But they say everybody, but you know we already have rules and regulations. So you shake every man in that building. It's been sensed as you being polite, you being open, because in fact it shows that you're not being secretive, that you don't have any evil motive in your mind. So possibly lots of people have come with an evil motive. Possibly that's why they have some superstitious belief. But just like they said, when you enter a room, you shake everybody. It shows that you are together. It shows that I'm loving you, and I have a good motive in mind. But so I think it's something we should take from better results.
And they say you don't need to shake someone across a threshold, and then he's actually believed like he's unlucky. And then they say when you're shaking someone, it has to be firm.
When you feel the handshake, you know that this person is with me. Possibly, maybe if the handshake is light, it just shows that you're being pretentious, or you have an evil motive. But when the handshake is very, very firm, like I hold your hand tight, like Linda, the love I have for you is a Christ love, and I want you to be happy to know that whatever you're going through, I understand this, you know. Whatever is happening, I'm with you. So I think that's why that handshake needs to be very firm.
And then talking about handshakes again, they actually said that you don't need to shake someone with gloves on again. So it means if you're shaking someone, even if there's cold and then you're wearing gloves, you need to pull it out before you shake that person.
How will you feel the handshake?
Actually, that's true.
So it actually, even to me, I perceive that as being rude. Like it seems like it's like maybe I have any contagious disease I don't want to get. So you get, when I remove the hand, it shows that there's this bond. You remember we said they have a bond. That's why the family. So you remove your hand glove and you shake. I think it's a good handshake, you know. And they say women are under no obligation to shake hands. So when you find yourself in bed, you are under no obligation whatsoever to shake a hand with anybody. It's a choice. You remember we said the kiss on the left is for those who are familiar with each other. So possibly with time, when I've gained your trust and I know I'm okay with you, then I can shake hands. But you're under no obligation to shake hands.
And then they also said if you're visiting homes, you need to take off your shoes and remove your coat, just to show that you're welcomed in the house, and then you come in peace. Like you just come to have a peaceful conversation with that person, or you just came to visit. So then you take off your shoes and then take off your coat. Then you feel relaxed.
You know, you feel at home. You know, how do you feel when you visit somebody? You know when you're very familiar with someone, you can even put your legs on the cushion, like, because you're feeling very familiar, comfortable. And that's why they even say you always bring a gift. So you don't just come to visit and then you come empty-handed. I think it doesn't speak well for you. But when coming, bring something, even if it's as little as a flower. You know, just bring something to show that this is my love offering, and with you, I love you.
I think we should practice that.
We really need to, you know. I think when we practice that, we get to preaching love and peace, because there are a lot of chaos, hopelessness. But you know, bringing things like gifts now show people that you are with them, and that you love them, and that you care about them. So I think it's a good habit we should take up here.
They have another etiquette over there. They said if you come, you give flowers, and then you make sure it's an odd number. Wow, okay. And then even numbers are for funerals. So it means if you're going there, you need to know the number of flowers to take there. So you don't preach, or you don't show that you actually mean something bad
for them. So I know, in fact, I think so that you not even be misunderstood.
Yeah.
So it's good that you get to read, like any country you want to visit, you tend to know what their do's and don'ts, their etiquette, what they believe in. So when I'm bringing the flower to your house, Linda, I make sure that the flower is either 3, 5, 9, 11. When I bring 2 or 4, that means it's a funeral, and then I'm like, wishing you bad luck. So I mean, it's really something. Even though for some people it might actually look like what kind of etiquette is that, like who does that? But you know, you need to know how people relate in other parts of the country, so you can also blend with them when you find yourself there. And you know, another thing about them there, they said in their Orthodox churches there, women should wear long skirts or a tank, and never to wear a tank top.
Okay.
So I think I agree with them that they are preaching about decent dress, because even if you see in the educational sector, like the way the kids dress to school, like they are very modest.
Yeah.
And that's why it even tells in even their religious places when they go to worship, you need to be dressed, like you need to dress very decent, so that you preach love, and then you don't actually cause to the downfall of somebody in church with your way.
Because you know, like sometimes we ladies, we can dress somehow, and then you tend to entice a man, and then you tend to make him fall. Even the Bible says you should not make a man fall. Even by the way you dress, you can actually make someone fall. So I think the rule over there is that you wear long skirts and then no tank top, and for the men you don't wear short trousers.
No short trousers. So for those that love, you know, when you get a matter, you'll be wearing short knickers, and that, you know, that when you find yourself, it's okay possibly maybe when the weather is hot, but when going to their worship centers, it's a thing you shouldn't even try to. Just dress decent, look beautiful, and just look okay to the worship center.
He said eating and drinking. Vodka toasts are common at shared meals. So if they're going to eat, they must toast to a drink. They must take vodka, you know. So like, it's more like that place is very cold. So like they need to take vodka to calm them down.
Well, you remember we said that when it comes to alcohol consumption, they're the second in the world. So it really tells about their rate of drinking. Since you have to toast, so if I have to say, Linda, I love you, I say toast to Linda. So I think it's just like I said, really something we need to look into.
And then it says when you get to their houses and they're eating, you need to join them, because they tend to tag it as being rude if they're eating and then you can't eat with them. So like I feel that's still an extension of love, because if they're eating, they want to welcome you to join them in eating. So it's still another way of showing love to other people, because if they're eating, you tend to join them. If you say you don't want to eat with them, so it means you're being rude. That's what they believe.
Yeah, I think it's being rude, and then it shows that you are not in harmony with them. We said they preach love there, so I think that's why they even said, even while you're eating, try and taste something little, even if you can't eat everything. I mean, like that potato pancake. I think it's something everybody will be able to eat. You don't need to eat the sour milk or something. And also making your toast, even if you don't take the vodka, I think you get something else you can tell them politely with love. And then with time, if you've developed a relationship with them already, you'll be able to understand that, okay, yes, this person is a foreigner that doesn't take vodka, doesn't take alcohol, possibly let's give he or she water. And then if you brought a gift on your way coming, I mean, it shows that you are together with them in love, in heart. So you don't even need to be so worried about that. That's why they said even when you go there, make sure you make a toast as well.
At every level, at everything you're eating, you must toast to it.
I mean, toast to life.
You toast to everything,
toast to joy, you know. And just like we said, part of their media activities, like mostly you see tourist people visiting there, so you meet lots of tourists there, especially their castles, their lakes there. I mean, it's a sight to behold, especially the Miss Sea. Something I would really love, you know, when visiting Belarus. It's a place I would like to visit, because they have lots of places, and they also do a bit of sports there, you know. Even though not like other countries so much into maybe horse riding and the rest, but they also do a little of sports. I think also into the IT, which we said basically during their media you meet people in the IT industry. I mean, you know, when I was reading, and then they said most of our video games was from there, you can imagine. It's something to, like, it's a sight to behold, like what can we here also produce We don't have to always depend on other people, you know.
Actually, just like, you know, they produce a lot of things over there. So like, it's something for us to pick from them, not only them, from other places, because, you know, you need to learn to do a lot of things. If they can actually make video games, then we should think of something we can do as well. You know, there was a time I saw someone that was making a car, like it was a project in school, and they did it very well. So like they brought it out, like it was looking very fine. So, you know, there are a lot of things we can do here in Nigeria that it will help us.
Yeah, you know, it's drawing the government's attention to certain sectors that we've neglected, you know. Where we were talking on one of the shows, you know, earlier on today's life, like there I was, you know, actually bringing out my veins, like talking about certain things that's supposed to be working and are not working, you get. But it's Belarus is the government that pay attention to like every sector, making sure that it's working, railway and all that, and that's why like they give all their attention to make sure like their IT, the sector is working well. And you see most of the like part of the media activities, most of the commoners are the ones that plant the flowers in the area. So when you visit, you see lots of beautiful flowers. That's why they said you should bring a flower and not an odd, not an evil number, but an odd number, you know. It's another activity they get themselves involved in, that like planting of flowers, tour sign, this is what you do. And also they have lots of cafes around, like you find, because I guess because the weather is cold there, so there are lots of cafes. If you're not taking the vodka, I mean, you can take coffee. You can take coffee there. So it's something you also meet Belarusians do during their media activities. It's what they focus themselves mostly, and also their industries. Like the into industry, like they have lots of they make raw materials, so they export it. So it's some of the things you also meet Belarusian during their midday, like it's things that they get themselves involved in, making sure that nobody's idle. I mean, it's something, just we said that they have the lowest rate of unemployment in that country, even though their wealth accumulatively, like it's not much, but I mean, it's a country that is so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. Belarus is beautiful. Of course, I would love to visit that place because it's safe as well. Because I think I was reading one part that they were saying you can go to Belarus at any time because it's a safe country, and then you don't feel like, okay, I don't need to go out by this time because it's not safe or because something is going to happen to me. But then in Belarus, since it's a clean and a beautiful country, and then they show love, since they love each other, so I know that country is safe. So you can go there, visit there, and then you're very comfortable because they will welcome you.
Or at night. I know one thing I forgot to say, like, was they have a gambling industry. Yes, it was shocking when I got to realize that they have a gambling industry. And
then it's bringing out money for them now to the government.
Money, I believe it's bringing out money, unlike other gambling places that you know you are not sure. But I mean, even though that gambling industry is only in the capital, which is mixed, but then I mean, for the government to permit gambling as part of the activity they do and part of something that brings in revenue to the country, I mean, it's really something.
Of course, since it's a control state, it's a control country, so they do a lot of all these things in order to generate revenue for them. Because if they do that, since they can actually control a lot of things, and then they've approved gambling, so then it means it's giving them a lot. It's
giving them quite a lot. It's a lot. Wow, Linda, I'm so happy. Like, we've been going on and on and on, and like I feel like we should, you know, just immediately after this show, we should let's just go to Belarus, I mean, because we really enjoyed our tour in Belarus. Taking the ride here feels like being in the country live, and I really appreciate here. So Linda, do you have any, like, possibly you want to ginger our viewers to visit Belarus before I sign out?
Yeah, just the way we've been talking about Belarus being a beautiful country, I would love, if you want to go to Belarus, make sure you're ready, the way you want to greet people, what you want to eat and everything. They love each other, so when you go to Belarus, they will definitely love you and welcome you.
Yes, talking about love and welcome, make sure you extend a hand of fellowship to somebody out there. Make sure you show love, and we really want to appreciate the Echo Executive for a platform like this to preach love and also to preach Christ. Even though we take a tour around the countries, but then in that we tend to preach Christ and the importance. And we also want to appreciate each and everyone that made this show a success. We really appreciate you, and on behalf of Linda, myself, and the entire Echo Television, we want to tell you to have a wonderful afternoon. Make sure you have a great day. Until we come your way again next week, Tuesday, have a blessed day. Bye for now.